Vice President, as it pertained to Dr. Ford, everyone wanted, high-level Democrats said she should be believed, that they believed it happened. You said if someone like Dr. Ford were to come out, the essence of what she is saying has to be believed, has to be real.
No.
Why?
No, what I said, it has to be.
Why is it real for Dr. Ford, but not for Tara Reade?
Because the facts are that, look, I'm not suggesting she had no right to come forward. And I'm not saying any woman, they should come forward. They should be heard. And then it should be investigated. It should be investigated. And if there's anything that is consistent with what's being said, and she makes the case or the case is made, then it should be believed. But ultimately, the truth matters. The truth matters. It's period. I fought my entire life to change the whole notion of the law and around the culture around sexual assault. And I fought to strengthen and protect the process for survivors. I believe we've come a long way, and we have a long way to go in this system before we, in fact, are in a position that there's a fair and unbiased view. But at the end of the day, it has to be looked at. These claims are not true. There's no cooperation. I mean, they're not true.
Mr. Vice President,
I don't know what else I can say to you.
Well,
oh man, things are starting to look bad for the Biden campaign. We're going to look at the latest Morning Consult poll that shows that Biden has already lost over a quarter of his Democratic supporters since the allegations of sexual assault have come to the surface, and why it is that the biggest threat to Biden's campaign as we speak are the Democrats themselves. You're going to absolutely love it. Greetings, everyone. Dr. Steve here with you. Super happy Wednesday to each and every one of you. If you are looking for your daily white pill of encouragement to help you counter all the ridiculous fake news nonsense that's out there from the corporatist globalist media, you have found your oasis in this channel. We post 2 videos a day analyzing current events and some super awesome conservative trends so you can live in the present in line of even better things to come. So make sure to smack that bell and subscribe button. It'd be an absolute privilege to have you as a regular part of this channel, where you're going to get to interact each and every day with this wonderful network of conservatives from all over the world. So let's start off with our video chat question of the day. Do you think someone else is going to replace Biden for the Democrat nomination? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Do you believe that someone else, I wonder who, is going to replace Biden for the Democratic nomination? And if so, of course, who? Is it Hillary, Michelle, Cuomo? Place your bets and let us know in the comments section below. Because frankly, to be honest, people are starting to talk. We're going to find out why things really look dire right now for Biden. But before we do, make sure to click on that link below. Don't wait. Check out the awesome video that we put together just for you, featuring our brand new Turley Talks Insiders Club. We are so thankful to those of you who have already signed up. You are going to love being a part of this massive group of conservatives from all over the world to network with. By becoming a member, you'll get more exclusive access to me and our journey together into this amazing new conservative age we're embarking on. Each week, you get a special deep dive video reserved solely for our Insiders members, 45 minutes to an hour long. You get access to our private Facebook group that features conservatives from all over the world. You even get my monthly reading list to keep you updated on the best and most enriching information that's out there for nationalism, populism, and traditionalism. You get a number of bonus videos. You even get some awesome swag or accessories like our Turley Talks tumbler to drink your coffee in, or whatever your beverage of choice happens to be, all for less than the price of a cup of coffee a day. So do not wait. Make sure to click on that link below. Watch the video on the Turley Talks Insiders Club to get a fuller sense of what you're going to be a part of. This offer to join for such a low price is only for a limited time, so don't wait. Click on that link. It'll be a privilege to journey into this new conservative age together with you. All right, gang, let's dive right in here. A brand new Morning Consult poll found that Joe Biden has lost over a quarter of Democrat voters following his response to the Tara Reade allegations. A full 25% of Democrats say they want another candidate. That means that 1 in 4 Democrats want Biden dumped for 2020. And what we're finding is that even the mainstream Marxist media, which is the mouthpiece, the loyal mouthpiece for the Democrats, even the Marxist media is beginning to call for the Democrats to dump Biden. We talked about this in an earlier video just the other day, but a writer for the New York Times named Elizabeth Bruenig has officially called on Democrats to abandon Biden and turn to some kind of, as she calls it, Plan B. And among her number of reasons for that, she mentions that more and more people are recognizing the clear double standard, indeed the blatant hypocrisy between the way the media and the Democrats treated the accusations from Christine Ford against Judge Brett Kavanaugh a couple of years back, and the way they've all but dismissed even more evidential allegations from Tara Reade against Biden. This blatantly obvious gulf between how Democrats have approached sexual assault in politically advantageous cases versus how they're dismissing Tara Reade, that threatens to discredit the entire enterprise of, justice for women and women's equality. And just as an aside, I think she's being a little naive here. I mentioned that in the video because I don't think the feminist enterprise is being threatened with being discredited. I think it already has been discredited, and the Biden-Kavanaugh double standard is only confirming such discrediting. All the polls show that people, particularly women, who self-identify as feminists is under 30% of the population. It's a staunchly and frankly stubbornly minority position. It's nowhere near the majority viewpoint you would think it would be given the obsessive coverage the left-wing activists disguised as journalists give to it. Given the partisan loyalties of the mainstream Marxist media, I would estimate that the number of self-proclaimed feminists within the media would easily be upwards of 90 to 95%. So they present a very, very skewed version of reality when it comes to Me Too and feminist ideology. The vast majority of people can clearly see through this media charade. They see this double standard perpetuated by the media, by the Democrats, and they recognize that women's rights has, for all practical purposes, been weaponized for partisanship and nothing else. So, nevertheless, Bruenig's concerns are clearly being echoed by over a quarter of Democrats, 1 in 4, that the party does need to nominate someone else other than Biden. And you can see this too with the so-called enthusiasm gap. Are you familiar with that? When matched up against President Trump in terms of the level of enthusiasm voters have for their respective candidates, the candidates they support, it's frankly ugly for Biden. Trump has an astonishing 19-point advantage in voter enthusiasm. Trump crushes Biden 64% to 45%. This is why when people were asked in this very same poll who they thought would win the election in November, Trump won in a blowout, 57% to 43%. So obviously, right now as we speak, you have a divided party among the Democrats. The party is simply not united around Biden at this point, even though he's hands down the presumptive nominee. When 26 to be exact, percent of your party wants a different candidate, right, after you've all but shored up the nomination, something's gone wrong majorly. And you contrast that with Trump, who enjoys a 90-plus approval rating among Republicans, along with that massive enthusiasm indicator. You're looking at the possibility of a complete and total slaughter in November. And as if anyone cared, as if anyone gave them the time of day, the New York Times is actually calling on the Democratic National Committee to do an investigation of Tara Reade's claims against Biden. Now, you have to understand what's really going on with that, okay? A lot of commentators and pundits, they're mocking the New York Times and all this. They're like, are you serious? Calling on the DNC to conduct a fair and accurate investigation and all this? Are you kidding me? And of course, it's a farce, on the face of it. It's utterly ludicrous for the Times to even suggest such a stupid thing. Give me a break. Let's have the mafia investigate themselves, right? But I think this misses the larger message that's being sent here. I don't think the Times expects to be taken literally by the DNC. I think calls like this are totally in line in keeping with Bruenig's article calling on Democrats to dump Biden. I think the Times call on Democrats to investigate Biden is frankly code. you better start looking for another candidate and do it quickly because time's running out here. Once Biden secures that nomination officially, gang, it's over. Trump is going to win in a landslide. Trump is going to utterly destroy and humiliate. I mean, Biden is the Bob Dole of the Democrats. So if you want even a semblance of a chance to win, you Democrats better pick someone else. That's what I think the Times piece really was all about. Now, on top of all this, to make matters even worse, you got the Bernie bros out there. The New York Post has a great piece on how the Bernie bros are the real threat to the Biden campaign. Forget Tara Reade. Forget all Biden's, gaffes and signs of dementia. Forget President Trump's massive war chest of funds to beat Biden into smithereens. Forget the enthusiasm gap. Forget it. The real threat, the final nail in Biden's coffin, is going to be what are called the Bernie Bros, a term coined back in the 2016 campaign designating the young male supporters of Sanders. Now, these were the young men who were drawn to Sanders' populist message, certainly a leftist populist message, but a message that rang in the hearts and minds of many who were absolutely disgusted with the center-left corporatist globalists who were running the Democratic Party, with Hillary Clinton, of course, being their self-anointed queen of the corporatist globalists left. So they saw and still see Sanders as the greatest, most prominent challenger to that center-left monopoly over the Democratic leadership. And what this piece in the Post is recognizing is that the single greatest weapon that Trump is going to be able to wield against Biden comes actually in the groundwork that was laid by Bernie Sanders supporters during the primary. They laid the groundwork for the many lines of attack that the Trump campaign will be using against Joe Biden in the general election, from his serial dishonesty to his obvious cognitive issues to his attempts to cut Social Security, and now, of course, his Me Too moment. The Trump campaign is going to have a field day, and it's a field day that was made possible largely by the Bernie campaign, because as the Post makes clear, throughout the 2020 primaries, nobody's knives were sharper against Biden than Sanders' rabid supporters online and in the far left media, like the Young Turks crowd. They hammered Biden on his support for the Iraq war, his chumminess with China and billionaires and super PACs, his lack of civil rights, wokeness, you name it. And this is a real concern. Remember, back in 2016, 12% of Bernie supporters voted for Trump over Hillary Clinton. He was a populist. And it's looking even worse for 2020. A new ABC News Washington Post poll found that a full 15% of Bernie Sanders supporters said that they do indeed plan on casting their vote for President Trump in November. So if you want to get a sense of how weak Biden is as a candidate, you have to realize that right now, the biggest concern of his campaign is actually just trying to hold on to Democrat voters. Let that hit you. Biden's biggest concern right now is the desperate attempt at trying to hold on to Democrat voters. That's how bad things are right now for him. So when all is said and done, let's just say things are beginning to look rather dire for the Biden campaign. Now, before you go, you will definitely want to check out my latest video on liberals panicking over Ruth Bader Ginsburg and her latest hospitalization health scare. But I argue that's all too little too late. Trump's already radically transformed the judiciary. I think you're going to absolutely love it. So make sure to click on the link, and I will see you over there. God bless.